Um, Dr. Gilmer, the president of WVUP, asked me to tell you all that he regrets that he can't be here today to pay a personal tribute to Americans veterans, but he's representing the university at a meeting of the American Association of Community Colleges, and he wishes for all veterans and their family to know that he honors their service and that WVUP is fully committed to supporting its veteran students and their families. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Darren Sherlock. I'm the WVUP Veterans Advocate, and I'm also a veteran myself. Officially, I'm U.S. Army Master Sergeant retired. So I'd like to say to all the veterans out there, to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you on Veterans Day, and thank you for everything that you've done and you continue to do. I'd like to start by, when we talk about Veterans Day, to say, who is a veteran? And there's a lot of people that have different opinions on it. Some people think it's someone who spent 20 years in the military and retired. Others think that it's only someone who served during wartime. And then some people think that it's only people who actually experienced combat in a war. But when I think of a veteran, I go by what is the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs definition. And the VA defines a veteran as anyone who served in the active military, naval, or air service and was discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable. So that's a wide swath of Americans that have served that are veterans, regardless of if they served in a time of war or were actually in combat themselves. And in America, we have three main holidays that we celebrate our armed services, our veterans. And aside from those different histories, origins, and intentions, there's a few differences between Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Armed Forces Day. Memorial Day, as the name implies, is a time that we pay respect and honor those who have died while serving their country or as a result from wounds sustained during their service, even after they finished serving or separated or retired. Armed Forces Day is when we honor those who are still currently serving in the armed forces, in the military, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now the Space Force. But today is Veterans Day. On Veterans Day, we honor those who have served in the past, present, and we even pay tribute to those who will serve in the future. Memorial Day is observed on the last Monday of May, and Armed Forces Day is observed on the third Saturday in May. And today, Veterans Day, we always observe it on November 11th of each year. Now, there's many different ways that we can honor the nation's veterans. In fact, today here at WVUP, the Veteran Corps and the Students Art Club, we honor the veterans by placing flags on the tombstones of veterans in the cemetery at the Poorhouse Cemetery here on campus. And before we go any further, I'd like to continue that by honoring them again here with you by reading the names of the veterans that we know have passed that are buried there in the Poorhouse Cemetery. Edward Waybright was a private who served in the U.S. Army in World War II. Olin Rexroad served in the U.S. Army also in World War II. Pearl Harkin served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Carl Cavaney was a private in the U.S. Army and fought during World War II. Donald Watson served in the U.S. Navy. Wesley Waybright was a private first class in the U.S. Army during World War II. Robert Baker was also a private first class, served in the Army in World War II. Roy Dingler was a private in World War II and committed his service in the U.S. Army. Daniel Leeser Sr. served the nation by serving in the U.S. Navy. Renly Smith was a private in the U.S. Army during World War II. Olin Sayer was a private in the U.S. Army in World War II. John Goody Jr. was a PFC in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. And Samuel Butcher served the U.S. military, and on his tombstone was one word: patriot. So I wanted to honor those gentlemen in addition to all the veterans. And when we think about veterans, there's one thing that ties all veterans together, and that's veterans take an oath. There's two different types of oaths that they can take depending on if they're enlisted or an officer. The oath that I took as an enlisted soldier was, I, Darren Sherlock, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and I will obey all orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Many of my friends and comrades that were officers that served, they took an oath that was slightly different, and I'll read that oath to you now. I'd say, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of office of which I'm about to enter. So help me God. So you'll notice that both officers and enlisted, they take that oath. And all of our veterans in America, they don't swear to defend one person. They don't take an allegiance to a particular office. They swear that they will support and defend the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And you'll notice that in those oaths, there isn't anything about a termination date, meaning that when they take that oath, it's forever. We all sworn forever that we will defend that Constitution. Well, we all know that it's important that we have a military. And when we think about Memorial Day and the veterans that died, that we all know that's important. But what about veterans that didn't die, that did their service? Why is it so important to honor them? And the reason that I think it is because all of these veterans, we train hard to fight. And we do that if there's a fight or not. Because we believe that if we're trained to fight, God willing, we won't have to. And the mere fact that our nation knows we can count on these veterans to stand up and defend us puts the nation in a position where we don't always have to fight, because others will not try to test us because they know the strength of our veterans. They know how many we've had that have taken that oath and that will continue to take that oath. And the strength of our veterans allows the United States to live freely. It allows us, if called to fight, to be prepared to win, but to show a strength of force. So God willing, we won't have to fight all that often. Well, here at WVUP, today I told you how we honored veterans, but we honor veterans every day here. Not just on Memorial Day, Veterans Day, or Armed Forces Day. And I'm so proud to work for a university that is ranked 8th in the nation for student veterans. WVUP, we go out of our way to create an environment that enables our veterans to reach their educational, professional, and career goals. I would encourage everyone that's in the veteran community to consider our school as their first choice in higher education. Some of the things that we do to try to help veterans and their dependents every day is providing them assistance when they're applying for their VA benefits, giving them credit, college credit for their military experience, helping them transition from a military life to a civilian life, providing free tutoring, and having a paid full-time veteran advocate on staff. And then additionally offering several veteran-based scholarships, which would be in addition to any GI Bill or Veterans Affairs benefits that they may have. Again, I'd like to close by thanking every veteran. You are our protectors. You protect us against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You are the defenders of our Constitution. You protect our way of life. And without the strength of our veterans, God only knows what would happen to our great nation. Thank you for taking part in this Veterans Day memorial with me. And God bless you, and God bless our veterans. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All righty, we are.